Greetings, greetings. So this is Body-Culinary. And I just came on to to answer a question from a subscriber, Mirjam Rash. Hope I'm saying your name correctly. So I wanted to ask this question. She asked a question about vanilla women. Some people say Caucasian women wearing locks, and said that she was confused. So I wanted to address it from one woman's perspective. If anything I say doesn't resonate, please respectfully leave it right here. You're welcome to comment respectfully in the comments. So, if you haven't been to this channel before, this is Body-Culinary. On this channel, I share my journey of about 30 years or so of radical self-acceptance, of appreciating the cottony crown that is sprouting out of my head. I invite you to do the same, whatever packaging you come in. I also share motivation to cultivate a personal movement practice to consume peacefully. For me, that means that what that looks like is fresh, whole, living fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and herbs and spices as creatively as I can make them, as also to start growing something, right? In order to reconnect to nature and to relax, right? Anything you can do to relax yourself. So those are some of the things that I share on this channel. So do feel free. I invite you to subscribe if you find value here, and you're welcome to share it with someone else. Okay, so that being said, Mirjam's comment is, I came to this channel because I wanted freeform locks, and I'm interested in natural beauty and growing, she said, your own food. I think she meant her own food. I wanted freeform locks because I think it is a natural state of our hair. If vanilla girls, I say vanilla girls, don't brush their hair, will it lock too? I was shocked that what chocolate girls are doing to their natural hair, with a kind of interesting looking emoji like this, with the chemicals. Vanilla girls are doing that too, perm, colored, etc. I saw a message on the internet. It was about Justin Bieber wearing dreads, that it is not respectful for vanilla people to wear dreads. Now I am confused. I don't want to offend people, but other side, it is a natural state from our people too. I would like to hear your opinion from other viewers. So thank you for your question, Mirjam. So I'm going to say this. I don't own your hair. I don't own anybody's hair. So if any of us don't comb our hair, eventually it's going to mat and it's going to lock. I've seen locks on folks from around the world. I used to go to a lot of ashrams and yoga. And so some of the sannyasis or the renunciates, you'll see they have very, very long locks. Their hair texture is not cottony. It's straight with like a little wave, and some of them very straight, and they have locks and matted hair. They have it for spiritual purposes. I do know in some schools of yoga, which is interesting. So those sannyasis in India, but there are also some folks in India, because India has lots of different cultural dynamics even within India. There's some folks in some parts of the yoga community that don't like locks, which is interesting when you find so many natural folks, and some people say granola folks in the yoga communities. So there's that. There's also, I've seen folks with locks in Celtic or Celtic traditions. I guess, I don't want to confuse Gaelic and Irish and, different parts of that part of the world. Norway, excuse me. It's some Nordic folks and warriors that lock their hair. So there are different people around the world that lock their hair for different purposes. I am aware of many people really vibing with one of our most popular cultural icons, who is Bob Marley, who put a lot of Rasta and Rasta culture on the map. He didn't start it, but he is an icon. So, and as a matter of fact, there's a video on this channel called "Why I Think Rasta Women Are Some of the Most Beautiful Women in the World." So I don't call myself, technically, I don't call myself a Rasta, even though there are a lot of the way of life I resonate with. People, when I travel internationally, usually once they see a person, especially a chocolate person, or anybody with locks, but especially a chocolate person, first thing I hear is Bob Marley and "Do you want some weed?" So I don't call myself a Rasta. Even though a lot of the lifestyle I live, you could say it's technically that. I personally don't smoke. Many people dear to me do smoke, but I don't do that for my own purposes. So that being said, is your hair. You can wear your hair however you want. I think the concern for many people is that traditionally in popular culture, there was a time when Rastas were very not only ridiculed, abused, jailed, and so on. And so many people that lock their hair resonate with that. And just even the lifestyle, thinking of being more natural and what our hair naturally does. You know, many people consider it unclean and consider that you don't wash your hair when it is matted hair. But there are ways to keep it nice and clean. I've had Rastas in my family, but not even everybody in my family really held Rastas in esteem. So it's only in recent decades that Rasta has gained some recognition. Bob Marley, again, was instrumental in putting it on the map, as well as other reggae groups coming after him. But because he was cool and because his music had such messages in it, that helped put Rasta on the map. And I think he was very intentional around that. Also, his wife, Rita Marley, and the I3s, who were the women that sang with him, had beautiful locks. And I really enjoyed them and appreciate them because they didn't have a lot of makeup. But they thought they looked so healthy, and the way they carried themselves was so attractive to me, even as a young girl. And even the Rasta women I would see around Brooklyn, how I noted certain patterns. I noted how they seemed to really dote on their children, be very passionate about educating their children. Seemed like they didn't really want to be involved in a lot of riffraff. I would see them off to the side with their own businesses. Those are some of the first women I saw operating their own businesses, as well as talking about self-pride in your presentation and your culture. So they really made an impression on me. I don't follow any particular man, although I can acknowledge the accomplishments of Marcus Garvey and Haile Selassie. I couldn't, in all honesty, say that I follow the tenets of Rasta, but a lot of it, I think, is a lifestyle that's intuitive. That being said, you don't own anybody's hair, so I'm not going to put anybody down because they wear their hair a certain kind of way. I do think many people can have a tendency to fetishize aspects of Afro culture and not acknowledge things that are popular now. We were ridiculed and abused for. I mean, we've had a traumatic experience. So when someone comes along later that's not coming from a Nordic perspective or celebrating that part of the culture, and they just throw some red, black, and green on. And, you know, sometimes it seems like making fun or fetishizing. So I think that's what folks are upset about. And I get that. I've gone to a concert, a Fela concert, you know, folks, you know, shout out to Fela and Ikulapo, who sang a lot in his songs about the colonialization, I have a list, of the content of Africa. And I just thought it was interesting. Sometimes the lyrics, other folks would be standing around getting high, smoking the lyrics. And I'm like, are they listening? Do they know what the lyrics say? Or it could be just a fetishizing in terms of it's entertainment for folks. For other folks and for Afro people, this is our lifestyle. There's a lot of trials and tribulation we go through. So I think that is part of the disrespect. However, you should wear your hair however the heck you want to wear your hair. I just think there's a cultural sensitivity where we don't own hair. We don't get to tell people how to wear their hair. I would never do that. I think for me, again, I've observed a lack of sensitivity, and I think also a lack of acknowledgement. And just like in the United States, there's been a lot of contention behind the lack of acknowledgement of what has happened to Afro people in the Americas as well as worldwide. So there's a lot of like an elephant in the room and a lot of bitterness there. I think it's a lack of, when you're interacting with folks, a respect for anyone's culture. It's like if I go to Japan and I come in wearing a kimono, and it may seem like I'm desecrating the kimono, or I'm not cognizant of other people's culture. Or I visited Saudi Arabia, and I had to cover when I was there, and there were some women that I was there with that had the abaya on and had a Yankee ball cap on backwards. So it made her stand out, and made us stand out like a sore thumb, and it was very disrespectful. So it wasn't sensitive to the environment and to the people we're in. So people consider it a desecration of their culture, the lack of sensitivity. So I think if that's what you want to experiment in, you may get locked, you may keep them, you may cut them off. That's totally up to you. This is your human experience. I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. I think it's wonderful when we can have respectful, insightful communications and conversations with each other. You want to lock your hair, rock your hair, lock your hair, do whatever you want because it's your hair. But I would just say for us, and this is with any of us, just to have a sensitivity to other folks and keep an open mind sometimes to have a listening ear. First of all, acknowledgement. And also, again, you don't owe anybody anything, but just out of a sensitivity, do understand that Afro people have been burnt. Look up the first roster. So you maybe perhaps educate yourself on the Celtics or Celtics and Caucasian folks that have worn locks, but also those who have popularized it worldwide are Afro folks. So maybe perhaps educate yourself so you can have some sensitivity. But I think that when people go out of their way to educate themselves and can be respectful and have an ear and acknowledgement, then I think it can make for us having more of a human experience where we can learn from each other. But I don't own hair. I don't own a hair that's growing out of your head. That being said, just some sensitivity to folks. So yeah, so hopefully that's helpful. Do what you want to do, rock out. And just for us to be respectful of each other and sensitive to other people's experience. If you look up the Pinnacle, you can look up the Occupy Pinnacle movement. You can see that online. Leonard Howell, the first Rasta. I didn't see him with locks. You can look up Mortimer Plano, who is Bob Marley's teacher. You can look that up online. I only have one little video why I think Rasta women are some of the most beautiful women in the world. So your hair won't look like ours, it'll look like locks, So just like my hair is very fine, I don't have thick Congo natis. This is also what my hair looks like. So this is your human expression while you're on the planet. So I hope that is helpful. That may not be a popular opinion, but I'm not here to ask for validation. I'm just here to express respectfully. And folks are always welcome to comment respectfully in the comment section. So feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share. See you soon, and do support the channel.